What's up, people? Welcome back to the Cowboys Culture Podcast. We really missed you guys. We took a little bit of time to do some holiday stuff with our fams and really spend some time with our families. But we're back, and we're excited about this new episode that we've got. We're filming right before the Seattle Seahawks game. We haven't seen you guys since after we just destroyed the New York Giants, and now
Tommy DeVito.
Yeah. Now we please, hopefully that doesn't become a thing.
That is a thing. The internet sensation.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Hey, Tommy.
He is now after we beat the brakes off of them, and apparently it didn't mean anything.
He likes chicken cutlets.
Yeah. Anyway, we got those two games that we haven't filmed about that we kind of want to just talk about. But before then, Steven, give us our sponsor, and Jacob, give us our new news.
360 Roofing and Restoration. Best roofing company in DFW, in the DFW Metroplex, commercial and residential. Give them a shout.
Yeah. All right, Jacob, give us some recent news.
So for news, really, there's only one thing in terms of recent news that I wanted to focus on. I think we all really wanted to focus on was that if you've been paying attention, it is reported that Shaq Leonard, who has just recently been cut by the Colts and cleared waivers and everything, is going to be visiting the Cowboys this Tuesday. So he's going to be coming to the facility, I guess, doing some kind of a workout. They're going to, make sure he's still got it.
Because I don't know anything, and I don't know if Jacob does, but I'm assuming he doesn't. So assuming Jacob and I are like the people, the culture watching, is Shaq Leonard still good? Is he good? And should we sign him?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's still extremely serviceable. Been in the league a long time, but for one, we're just so weak at linebacker.
Yeah.
We could use some veteran help back there. Man, if the Cowboys could use anything, they could use somebody that can tackle.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Is that him?
Yeah, that's him. You're not gonna get 40 snaps a game out of this dude, but man, big downs. Short yardage downs, knowing that you're going to need linebacker help, he's got to be out there. I think he's a good sign for coming into December. I think he's somebody you at least rent the rest of the year. I want to say he's looking for a home, looking for a deal. But even if and he's been losing a lot too, right? Yeah. So I'm sure at this twilight in his career, probably about to sign his last, kind of real deal. I think he knows that, and I think that's why it's us in Philadelphia that have the best opportunity for him. Being that he's coming here first, I'm gonna tell you right now, the Cowboys and the swag that Jerry carries around the league, and for these players know that Jerry Jones takes care of players. They know they're treated like royalty here in Dallas. And it's a known thing throughout the league. So I think Shaq Leonard, kind of like we talked about a little bit ago, Ethan. Shaq Leonard comes to the Star in Frisco. Whatever office he walks into, lock the door behind him and say, "We're all leaving when you sign."
Yeah.
Because that's where we are as far as forget about if he's still that dude. I mean, he's not, right? I mean, the Colts are ready to move on. But and of course they are. They're a bad team. They're thinking draft. They're thinking they're thinking 2024. So for teams that are still in 2023, I think anybody'd be lucky to have him, especially somebody that's weak at linebacker depth, and that's the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you're saying. I mean, obviously there's some kind of problem there if the Colts are willing to just cut him. I mean, they couldn't. Clearly, they probably tried to trade him. They couldn't, I guess. And then, so if they're cutting him, there's clearly a problem. But I do think for a team like us, a team like the Eagles that's struggling with depth, I think he's really just whether he ends up being a true impact player or even playing at all, to me, it doesn't really matter because even if he doesn't play, even if he's just there as depth, obviously the price has to be right. But even just having a guy like that as a depth piece, maybe get some, just getting in the linebacker rotation, I think would really help us. We're really struggling with size in our linebacker room right now. I mean, as it stands, if Damone Clark goes down, I mean, because we've already lost two of our three bigger bodied linebackers. If Damone Clark goes down, we literally have nobody. We already are pretty much forced to, and shout out to Dan Quinn for this, but we're pretty much having to run with like 10 safeties out there because we have no linebackers. And
shout out to Marquise Bell for just taking on people 3 times.
Guys are stepping up, and Dan Quinn's scheming really well. But I think that I feel like if he had somebody that had more big body guys like a Shaq Leonard, like we had coming into the season,
traditional linebacker,
it would just give a little bit more. It would give Dan Quinn a little bit more of
more weapons,
another piece that he could fit into the, to his little chessboard that he's got. And I think that, a guy like Shaq Leonard with his experience doesn't hurt when you have a lot of young safety linebacker hybrid guys like Damone Clark, especially if with Van Der Esch being up in the air. You don't know if he's going to come back next season or not. So having an experienced guy like this only helps the development of guys. If you're going to roll in the future with guys like Damone Clark and Overshown, two young dudes, helps to have a veteran guy. So I think, is he like going to be the savior of our team? I don't think that. I don't think that he's going to be. I could be wrong, but I don't think this is like a splash. But I think it's a good piece that will help, and I hope that he comes to our team as opposed to a team like the Eagles.
This is going to be a good veteran presence in the defensive backfield. Yeah, it will, and it'll pick. Let's be honest. The Cowboys are still vulnerable against the run. And that's a big part of the reason why we are. Don't expect this guy to come in here and be the general of the defense, and it's just LVE 2.0.
Well, and we don't our defense is by no means struggling. Our defense is one of the most dominant groups in the entire league, and so it's like all this would be a depth / possibly strengthen a weaker area or a not completely stacked part of our defense. But it's not like it's a huge need.
We don't have any depth in that area, and our defensive general in LVE is gone. So the point is that we this late in the season, someone that can pick up the scheme really quick. Well, you lean on a veteran for that, and Shaq Leonard he fits the part for what we're asking for, I believe. And, he all of a sudden becomes this hot commodity because of that. So, I hope they, like I said, I hope they kind of bring him in tomorrow, which would be Tuesday the 28th, and lock the door behind him and give him a pin and say you can go home when you're done.
Yeah. But I was going to say, let's just do that, and let's freaking sign him.
Yeah, if it comes to a situation where his agent rolls in there and says, "No, we're here for 2 years," or we're not here, maybe give that a good thought. But I think if it's, hey, we're looking for a playoff opportunity this year, we're looking for somewhere we're going to play, and Dallas is more so that a fit for that than Philadelphia. So I just say, if that's what they're looking for, if that's what him and his agent roll into town with, and it's just, hey, we're just looking for a place to play and looking for a playoff opportunity, we're looking for a run. Shaq's obviously getting late in his career. He's ring chasing at this point, and he'll take. I think we're a better fit. But
well, I was going to say, just moving along with what we had to talk about. I know that the culture was, you missed us, and you were hoping to see us talk about the smackdown that we put on the Panthers and the smackdown that we put on the Commanders on Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. But I would say my overall takeaways, and we can kind of go down the line with, the main story is, there's a couple main stories, is Deron Bland's made history. He added to the pick six toll. He's looking like one of the best corners in the league, if not the best corner in the league. He added to that pick six thing in both games, sealed it, tied it in the Panthers game, sealed it in the Commanders game. But it's just, I feel like the big part is Dak, man. Dak is just so good, man. It doesn't matter who's like. You can say, well, who have they played? What quarterbacks have they played? It doesn't matter. It's the Eagles. It's the Giants, it's the Commanders, the Panthers, whoever, he's gonna light you up. Like he's going to give you a show.
Yeah, I mean he lit up the Eagles coming into this win streak. By the way, Giants, Panthers, Commanders, we've been playing the same game for 12 quarters.
Yeah.
Just it's an offensive show. It's the likes of number 11 getting home. We're kind of on rinse and repeat right now.
Bad
quarterbacks, yeah. So going into especially if Geno plays Thursday night, coming into that game, we're kind of getting into the meat of this thing. We're kind of getting into these meaningful games. Not that they're not that stacking them ain't meaningful, but kind of lame ducks are kind of out of the way, right? We took care of business. We took care of business so well in those games. We did exactly what we were supposed to do. The schedule lined these bad teams up in front of us, and we absolutely obliterated them.
Yeah.
So,
well, and the thing is people are saying, and this is what I'm excited. I know we're about to transition into the next, the Seahawks game, but all people want to talk about is the Cowboys are beating on bad teams. They won't beat. They're whatever. But the bottom line is nobody is consistently dominating other NFL football teams, whether they're good or bad, like the Cowboys are right now. That's number one. And number two, what I'm excited to see, as Steven was talking about, we're kind of transitioning into a different part of our schedule.
Yeah.
I'm excited because of the fact that, number one, if you look at our team from the beginning till now, our offense is just we're like a completely different team than how we started out. I mean, our defense has pretty much been consistently has played pretty consistent. I mean, they had a bad game versus the 49ers. But our offense has developed, and Dak and this new scheme and the pass game concepts, we finally figured out how to get Brandon Cooks involved. Dak is using his legs and orchestrating the offense very well. And not only that, but right when we're about to transition to this part of the season, our run game is starting to get where it needs to be. Our run blocking is getting better. Our pass protection, Dak's had more time recently. Now we have played bad teams, but these teams, for the most part, their defensive lines aren't bad. It's just overall bad quarterback play and offense and things like that. But all things, our defense has always been that defense. But our offense has been the one that in the early part of the season people were kind of questioning.
Yeah, leaned on the defense.
But it's flipped now. Dak is playing like at an unbelievable level. The CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, we're getting them involved. That we're getting additional weapons like Ferguson is
the O line is playing way better.
But the O line and blocking, getting run lanes open. We're seeing kind of like a shift towards splitting a little bit more the carries.
Biotish and Tyron blocking downfield, those are my favorite plays, man.
And it's just the Dowdle Pollard duo is really starting to heat up, and so I'm excited now for this next part of the season because I think literally every team outside of I think we play the Commanders at the end is in the playoff picture.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to see how we stack up against these good teams. And so, I'm excited.
Let me tell you, just as we transition, I mean, Sam Howell can play.
Yeah,
all right. That dude can play. All right.
He needs an O-line, but
yeah.
I mean, he can.
Well, here, just to piggyback off of that, he can play. You'd be crazy to move on from somebody that can get around that well and play as well as he has been. And if you do build a line around him, as a team that's in the division with him,
I'll say this. Let me ask you guys this: would you be more scared of the Eagles team right now, or if you gave the Commanders everything the same? We gave the Commanders the Eagles O-line.
Well, I just never have really feared the Eagles at all, for obvious reasons. I mean, every time we see them, we outplay them.
Yeah.
Even this last loss to them, I mean, we significantly outplayed them. But so they're. If you were to give Sam Howell their offensive line, and let's just for fun say for the exercise, let's say we're going to give the Commanders' offensive line to Jalen.
Oh man, it would be terrible.
Jalen, would have to become a track star real quick. And Sam Howell all of a sudden has time. That's scary.
Yeah, I mean, and you saw just really quick with the Eagles, you saw what getting pressure on Jalen, at the beginning of the game. At the beginning of the game, when you saw Jalen get pressure, the dude was thrown into the stands like six passes in a row. The first 3 passes he threw were straight in the stands because there was pressure.
Yeah, if his first progression, which is 11, if AJ's covered up, he looks over at Goddard. If Goddard's not there, it's scramble time, I mean, and if he can't scramble, if he is locked in, Jalen Hurts will throw it into the 8th row.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. The point I was trying to make is I genuinely think that
Howell
is a better quarterback.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, just in isolation, watching him play versus Jalen, I really do think if he had better O-line situation, it would be kind of scary.
Yeah, and that's
because he is a true dual threat quarterback in my opinion.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point because I was telling Jacob this the other day, Steve. I mean, the Eagles and the Niners are pretty much in the same boat. They both have bad quarterbacks, and then they just have superstars at every other offensive position, every single one, from every O-line position to every skilled position to everything, including running back. It's stacked. So it's like whenever I watch Brock Purdy, it's like, okay, but he's throwing to an All-Pro over there, and then he's throwing to an All-Pro over here. He's throwing to a Pro Bowler over there.
Yeah.
Then he's handing it off to an All-Pro over here.
You or I could probably string together some kind of success with that around.
Which is what Brock Purdy and Jalen are doing. But anyway.
Can I say something about that though?
Sure.
Jalen for sure, and Jalen does have the use of his legs. I've always given Jalen his props where they're due, and he's good at what he's good at.
He's good at running, and if he's got anything, that the deep ball, man. Now I think part of it is that his receivers are just incredible at contested catches.
I'll say this. He's thrown maybe 1 or 2 deep balls where I was like, that was good. The others are just hack it up and pray.
I've always kind of said this, and you guys know how I feel about Joe Burrow, but I've always kind of said that about Burrow. One thing Burrow has had since the day he came on the scene is who, Jamar Chase, at LSU. When they got to Cincy together, there's that lost year of Burrow, his rookie year or whatever. But then Jamar shows up, and it's back to business as usual. And it's literally just throw it in his direction, right?
Yeah.
And I think Hurts is serviced by AJ the same way.
Yeah, he owes everything to AJ.
Give him a jump ball opportunity, and he's probably coming down with it.
Okay,
but
I was gonna say. Yeah, no, I mean, not to get too much on the crappy quarterback that plays in Philadelphia, but let's look ahead really quick. Let's who we playing this week, Steven?
Yeah, so we're gonna play the Seattle Seahawks Thursday night football.
I hate when we play on Thursday night, but
yeah, I don't like when anyone plays on Thursday night, but especially us, because Thursday night is you can call it what you want, but everybody's body clocks are off right now. You can say, oh, well, that's 7 days, just like Sunday to Sunday, but it's not, because everybody's routine during this Thanksgiving time going into December, especially for the Cowboys, for the Dallas Cowboys. Not making excuses, but it's just such a messed up time for our team and our players. However, game we should win. Their quarterback's banged up pretty bad.
So I'll say this. Yeah. We'll do a good segment that I know everybody loves. Why we win, why we lose, and point differentiation.
Yeah, I mean, I just think we win because regardless of if Dak keeps up this hot streak, which I don't see any.
Yeah.
I don't see anyone in front of him that's going to slow him down. I look forward actually more to getting past this game because they do have a decent secondary and a decent defense. I look more into getting past this game and on to Philadelphia, where I think it'll be easier for Dak. But what I'll say is the reason we win is because why we win. Our defense is lights out, incredible. So just being able to contain a so-so offense, even if Geno Smith plays, being able to get home to the quarterback. They won't be able to run against us if we can do what we've been doing, and that's kind of jumping up and at least keeping it tight in the first half. So our defense will ensure that we win this game, and Dak's going to. There's nobody in Seattle that's going to stop Dak from doing what he's doing. I'm not saying he's going to go out and pass for 350, 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, but he's going to do more than enough to ensure that we have more points at the end. And again, the defense, I fully expect a takeaway. It's kind of funny. Like we're playing Seattle, and when you guys were wee lads, they were the talk of the town defense. They were the Legion of Boom, and I'm kind of reminded of that era of Seattle in our defense.
Yeah.
So the secondary's electrifying, right? And Deron Bland obviously is who he is. And then kind of that Richard Sherman ball hawk type, and then the boys up front who were the Bobby Wagners and everything of those Seattle teams. Yeah, it's just ironic that it's a lot of a mirror image in some ways, but that's why we win. We won't lose. There's no reason to comment on that. And then how do we do it? Why we win?
What's
why we
your
lose?
prediction?
What's my prediction? Whatever. The 31-17. I think it's I say that we could win 40-17. We could win 40-10. The way our defense is playing and the way that their quarterback is limited if he plays. I just kind of go back to it's a Thursday night. For whatever reason, we'll be lackadaisical. We won't just run out there, and it may even look a lot like Washington. Where Washington, again, it's a Thursday afternoon, and you just kind of got to get the juices flowing, and then eventually kind of run away with it. Not that Sam Howell doesn't deserve his props. He kept it close in the first half. So winning at halftime, right? Were they winning at halftime? Yeah, so, whatever. Shout out Sam Howell. But, what do you guys think?
Go ahead, Jay.
There you go.
Okay, I was just going to say why we would possibly lose is pretty on point with what you said. We've seen it where it just doesn't make sense. It's not because we're playing better teams or whatever, because the Cardinals aren't better than us and the Eagles aren't better than us. The Niners are a bit better than us, but that's because they actually have a good team. It's because we come out – well, the Eagles, we actually played a really good game. But the Niners and the reason why we looked bad against the Niners and we lost against the Cardinals is because we came out all lazy and I don't even know what it was against the Niners. You just lose Trayvon. Everybody's kind of shaking up.
That was against Arizona.
But what I'm saying is
tell the truth.
Yeah,
It's Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs. We underestimated Josh Dobbs and he came out and he burned us. With
rocket fuel. He burned us
right.
rocket fuel because he's.
But it seems like we learned our lesson from that, and we haven't been coming out flat against bad teams anymore.
Yeah,
so
that's great. So
we only do it against good teams in San Francisco.
It's true.
And so that would be the only reason why we would lose. I think that nobody's really going to be able to lock up Micah. Nobody's going to be able to lock up Sam or Dorrance or Mozzie or Big Hank or Osa, who's been playing
not just all
out of
of
his
them
mind.
At once,
Not Gino's going to throw an interception or a couple. Whatever the case may be, our defense is going to soar. But another reason why we win is just I know that the Seattle Seahawks have a lot of good young corners and everything. And you got Wagner there again, and he's been playing pretty good, but I don't think they can slow down what we got. I think we've been hearing, Cowboys can't beat a winning team, and you just happen to be coming to Dallas this week, and we're hot, and you're going to get that. I feel like so. I'll say, points. I'll say 27-13.
Okay, so you're lower scoring. I mean, I definitely think we're going to win.
A good Thursday night score.
Yeah.
I think
kind of a boring game.
Yeah. Shout out Al Michaels. Yeah.
I think that we win this game because we are the better team. We're pretty much better at every aspect. And I think the X factor that has been the past few weeks definitely is Dak. Dak is just playing on a different level right now. I don't see how they're going to be able to. I don't see how in any way Geno Smith is going to be able to, if he does even play, keep up with Dak and how he's playing right now. And so now, when it comes to how we could lose, I think there's one small way scenario in which I see us losing, which is just, the Seahawks. Number one, they have a good coach. Overall, they have a decent roster. It's not great. It's a good, not great roster. They have playmakers on their defense, and they have playmakers on their offense, and so they are a good team. They're in the playoff picture at the moment. They also have a good coach. So, and not only that, but they are a lot more desperate than we are because they're on that fringe of playoff situation.
True. Yeah. That's true.
So I could see them coming out kind of like how the Bills were versus the Chiefs yesterday, and like this is their like win or go home game.
The Bills played the Eagles yesterday.
Yeah. Sorry, the Eagles, and this was like a win or go home game. And the first half, they kind of caught the Eagles asleep. And so maybe because the Eagles are already cemented into the playoffs, and we are already cemented into the playoffs at this point. So pretty much. I mean, obviously anything could happen, but it'd be almost impossible. But anyways, I could see that kind of we got a really desperate team here. And we have been kind of playing bad teams the past couple weeks, so I could see maybe getting caught off guard and maybe getting one kind of stolen from us. But I do, like I said, I think there's like a 1% chance of that because I just think we're just a lot better than they are. We're on a roll right now. Dak is playing out of his mind. So my prediction is we're going to win, and I don't think it's going to be like super high scoring, and I think their coach and everybody, they're going to come up with a good game plan. But we are at home, so I'm going to go
a little bit. Not lose at home.
Yeah, until we lose at home, I'm gonna go with the fact that we're gonna win and play well as we have all season, and so I'm going to go with 30-20.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. I think they'll put up some points. They'll keep it relatively close, but I do think that we'll have a good margin. So
for sure. Yeah. I mean. And just going back to the home thing, I mean, we're undefeated at home. And I think we have the longest home winning streak in the NFL. A stadium, when it was built, for whatever reason, did not carry, and was almost known for not having a home field advantage. Can you imagine the Dallas Cowboys? We have totally, as fans, flipped that script. And it's one of the best home fortresses in the NFL. Something happened. I don't know if it's the Pepsi Star Towels that they started handing out every game, or whatever. Where Michael Irvin comes on the jumbotron and he's sweating and telling everybody to go crazy on third downs and everything. And and again, we the towels have now become a staple. So we as fans, we have gone and made something that was notoriously a non-home field advantage, a very quiet, large stadium, and we've gone and turned that thing into a fortress. It gets loud on third downs now. It gets, that place is rocking now, where I think in the beginning it was this marvel of a place, kind of the first of its kind. Everybody focused on the jumbotron.
Everybody wanted to come in and win.
Yeah,
and so it was
exactly. And it was, not that it doesn't still exist, but the dancers in the end zone and all that. I mean, all that's kind of cooled off a little bit. They still exist, obviously, but I think the team has done a good job of kind of coaching us fans into getting more into the game. So
what I was going to do is, now that we got that, the Seahawks game out of the way, I'm just going to pop a quick hot take in, and then we'll get out of here.
Okay.
That sounds good?
Yeah. Why doesn't Jalen Hurts smile?
Because he knows he's not good, and he knows he's getting carried. But that plays into our hot take. The Eagles are really not that great, and they're the luckiest team in the NFL.
That is a hot take. A 10-1 team is not that great.
And I've brought it up before, and Bobby Belt, shout out Bobby Belt at 105.3 The Fan. He stole this from me. He can give me credit whenever he wants to. I said before this, and Jacob can back me up, that the Eagles, when I thought about it, I was like, man, the Eagles are exactly like the Vikings last year. They don't deserve the record that they have, but they're the best team, one of the best teams in the NFL, and record-wise, and they're really not that great.
Yeah, I think the one thing the Eagles have going for them there is the fact that they're the NFC champs or defending NFC champs. That's what separates them from the 2022 Vikings.
Yeah, but how did they become the NFC champs, Steven?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, the kid broke his arm.
They beat Danny Dimes.
Yeah,
and
barely.
I think Christian McCaffrey was out there throwing passes or warming up on the sideline.
Yeah, so I mean, yes, they. Granted, the kid broke his arm and everything, or made whatever happened to his arm. Point is that if you're trying to convince people that the Philadelphia Eagles, who sit at 10-1, are defending NFC champs, are not that good, that's a difficult argument. Mm-hmm. Here's what I'll say. This is a Cowboys podcast, right? Here's what I'll say. The Cowboys, and I said this a couple weeks ago when we somehow lost to them, the Cowboys are head and shoulders better than them. Yeah. And we're in their division. We're their ultimate rival at the moment. We are head and shoulders better than the Eagles. Our quarterback and their quarterback don't belong on the same planet. Yeah. Okay, so our defense is a million times better than their defense. Okay, they've been trotting this hairline out there and called Fletcher Cox forever, telling us he's great and everything. I ain't seen greatness out of him in 5 years. Anyway, in their Super Bowl win era, he was pretty good. Back when Doug Peterson was there. As far as what I care about, we are head and shoulders better than them. We're going to see them again in December. There's a fine chance we see them again in January, and I'm not worried about either of those games. But, Ethan, just to kind of not chicken out on the question, they are the luckiest team in the NFL. I've literally never seen anything like this. That is including the Vikings last year. Yeah, they had some breaks and everything, but who was it? Their game against like Cincinnati that was like crazy. Yeah. But I mean, what the Eagles are doing right now is the wildest thing I have ever witnessed in my life. And I've been watching football. I was the kid that watched ESPN in the summers and on Saturday morning instead of cartoons, right? I mean, I was that kind of nerd, but I've never witnessed anything like we're seeing, where teams are just downright outplaying them and can't beat them. Yeah. A lot of that's calls, no calls. Well, things like that.
Yeah, it's a mixture, and that's why I think I agree with you how unbelievable it is, and how I've never seen anything like that as well. It's like it's a mixture of referee luck, like who's getting, because there's going to be calls that referees miss, or calls that they call that aren't really a penalty. They get insane luck when it comes. Now, at very worst, an honest person has to say it's good penalty luck. At worst, it's some kind of a referee conspiracy thing going. But at the very best case scenario, you have to say it looks like they have really good luck. But it's not just that. It's like every time they play another team, not only do the referees they have good fortune with the referees, but the other team has like the most mistakes they've ever had in a season when they play you know what I mean? Either they play a team with most of their key starters out, or that team just literally outplays them in every single aspect of the game, but they have less points at the end because if they would have made this field goal, or there's so many moments that you can go back to that are just like unbelievable luck.
It's the strangest.
So it's like I just it's been going on since last season.
I mean, even if you just, our first game against them last year, I mean, obviously the man wasn't there. Their boogeyman. And if you look at the record, he's still their boogeyman. But so Dak wasn't there. But Dak shows up in Philadelphia on Christmas Eve, hangs 40 on him, goes about his business. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, just after that, the luck continued, and the luck continued on into the playoffs with who they draw in their divisional matchup,
yeah.
and then and then what happens to them with a team that was primed to win the Super Bowl last year, and their quarterback gets this weird injury that happens in baseball. So
and even in the Super Bowl, you have injured Mahomes. So it's like how much luck. Like if you had to say how lucky do you have to get as a team to where in the NFC Championship and in the Super Bowl you're playing against a team with an injured quarterback. I mean it's just unbelievable. And we see all the different mistakes, like 2 weeks in a row. 3 weeks in a row there, because I think they played the Cowboys, Chiefs, then the Bills, right? 3 weeks in a row, the other team has them on their heels, and either what we saw when we were on the 6-yard line and just all those penalties and all that kind of stuff that kept us from scoring. The Chiefs can't catch a football, and the Bills just Josh Allen overthrowing or messing up that pass to a wide open Gabe Davis in the end zone. It's like
I don't know,
you can't get more lucky than that. 3 weeks in a row, but here's what we know: what happened last year when the Vikings were a lucky 10-1 team, and everybody could clearly see that there were some problems there. They played us late in the year, and it was just an all-out beatdown.
But that's the thing. Yeah, but that's the thing. And I get what you're getting at is, hopefully we kind of see a rinse and repeat with that, with what's coming up in December. But it's like, once Minnesota finally started running into teams that were clearly better than them, the wheels started to fall off. Mm-hmm. The Bills last night were better than the Eagles. The Chiefs were better than the Eagles, and the Cowboys were head and shoulders better than the Eagles, and they still can't lose. So, yeah, it's just this luck thing is crazy. But I do kind of feel like I almost feel like Philadelphia fans sitting up here going, hey, the 10-1 Eagles suck or what? You guys, this John, whatever they say, water. What a bunch of freaking cheesesteak eating idiots. But I'm just gonna say the one team I care, and it's kind of repeating what I just said. The one team I care about, they're head and shoulders better than the Eagles, and I'm not worried about them at all.
Well, because and my last thing I was just gonna say is that I agree with that, and I think that you can say that. Definitely, we hate the Eagles. They're in our division and all that kind of stuff. But I think that even an Eagles fan, if you are an Eagles fan, if you're honest, I get it. You're 10-1, but
no, those are some savages, man.
But it's hard. It's hard to find a reasonable one out there. It's sad to say, but it is. But if you actually think about and watch your team, if you're honest with yourself, the team is not playing good. The team is getting – you have to admit how lucky the team is getting. You have to admit how bad Jalen's playing. You have to admit how bad overall for the majority of the game that the entire team is playing. It's just clear as day. And so –
these guys have a good offensive line, and they've got good receivers.
Yeah.
There's – Jacob, you could make something happen with that kind of protection and those kind of receivers. You could stand in there and probably hit some passes.
But even still, though, if you go back and you watch that game, I mean, I think Jalen had 30 yards at halftime. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
They are not playing good football. They're just conveniently things are happening in a way that somehow they have points at the end of the game. They have more points at the end of the game.
Yeah.
But they're not. They are by no means. If you're an honest Eagles fan out there, you have to admit they are by no means passing the eye test. And I mean, who knows? This luck might continue for a while. But I mean, I just don't see how this team goes as far as the last team did.
It runs out.
What you want me to say?
Yeah, look, it runs out. It runs out this week when you guys play the Niners, and you'll see. And then
you think so?
Yeah.
You
and
do?
Then it'll.
I think the Niners are head and shoulders above them, but the Bills just systematically just outplayed them, but couldn't win.
Here's what's gonna happen: the dam will start to crack with the Niners. They'll win, and then we'll just blow up the dam when we get when they play us in Arlington. So, they've been holding on by a thread, and it's about to get cut. So. All right. Well, hey, I don't know if you guys had anything else, but that's all I had.
That's all I got.
No, I mean Jalen was a Sooner.
They are the lucky. The hot take is true. They are the luckiest team in the NFL. True. I don't care what anybody else says. Even some of the mainstream media guys are starting to say it now. We've been saying it for the past 2 years. It's unbelievable. But hey, luck most of the time, unless you're Philadelphia Eagles,
he
runs out. So hopefully
we'll
get to see if the same thing happens to them like it does to everybody else. But I don't know.
So go Niners.
Yeah, I guess that's the only time I'll root for them. Yeah. But hey, listen, guys, we appreciate you guys stopping in and listening to our podcast, man. We appreciate all the love that you guys give us and all the support and all the follows. Continue to follow, continue to like and subscribe on the channel. And let us know what you guys thought about what we've said on the video, or DM us or whatever. And we'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Jaden Daniels for Heisman. Later.
Ooh.